Hello and welcome to the first ever Links Head podcast. I'm Alfie, otherwise known as Solomon G, and I am accompanied by.
Callum.
So, in this podcast, it's this going to be us two waffling about whatever we've done or whatever we want to talk about this week. And I think this week we're going to be discussing GCSEs later. But right now, we're just going to talk about what kind of things we want to do with this podcast. All right. So, Callum, what are your ideas that you want to do with this podcast?
My ideas for this podcast, I want to talk about recent events that are happened all over the world, be talking about them, how we agree and disagree. Also, I want to interview people about their stories eventually. And at the minute, we're just going to be talking about events that have happened in the UK and maybe around other places around the world.
Yeah, I think I do feel the same way. Talk about events happening in the UK because not a lot of people actually talk about what's going on in the UK. It's always like America.
Yeah.
Also, like you said, interviewing people, getting their stories. Like maybe we could even do like a Halloween special with scary stories from people.
Also, we can talk about our own stories.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I want to focus on mental health as well, because a lot of people suffer with mental health. And I can just say we're always here to speak about if anyone's got any problems or anything. I think we'll link our Instagrams in the bio of the video.
So yeah, well, that's a really good idea. I think like most podcasts we're going to be talking about serious stuff, but we may have like the one-off one where we do like something funny. Because also you always sometimes do need something to cheer you up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I had two ideas. One is that we could react to videos that you guys want us to react to with the podcast, or give our review on something like that. And I thought that'd be a good idea because it'd get the community involved quite a lot and the people that are listening to the podcast.
Yeah, if you in the comments put ideas of anything, we can react to it and speak about it.
Yeah, and if there's any personal questions you want to ask about like our lives and how what we do and anything like that, just ask us and we can talk about it in the next podcast.
Yeah, and any ideas you have, we can consider them and maybe be one of our podcasts in the future.
Definitely. I also think probably later on down the line when we have got more following and everything, we probably could even do a video podcast, but that'd have to be much later on because we need to get the money for the equipment and everything.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think unless we're making it our own money, it's going to take us a while to save it for good equipment and good software. And it would help if you guys subscribed and shared this with your mates.
Yeah. We could even interview some fans about their stories. We're probably going to try and get one podcast out a week. So
maybe to a stretch.
Yeah, to a stretch. Also, I feel like we could really do some good with this podcast. And like help you with any concerns you have and everything. And we could even shout some people out. Say if, for example, you make gaming videos or you make music or something like that, we could interview you and maybe even help you get a following and maybe help us as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it could help grow our page and YouTube, and also could help grow your YouTube.
Definitely. Right. So this week we're going to be talking about the GCSEs, and for you guys that don't know what GCSE is, if you live in another country that isn't the UK, they're the tests you take when you finish school, and they've been cancelled. So basically, because of the coronavirus and everything, they have to cancel the tests. So now it's based on our work. But how do you feel about that, Callum?
I feel, in a way, happy because the amount of learning we've missed because of this corona, I don't think it's fair on us having a bunch of GCSEs to get on with the amount of schoolwork we've missed, and I don't think it's fair. But I am happy about it. There is pros and cons to it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. In a way, I'm glad the exams are cancelled because now you don't have the stress of worrying about that, going and doing that exam and how many there are. Also, saves us a bit of time because we don't need to revise now, which is a good thing. But I just feel like at the moment, because we're not in school, it's very hard to do the work to prove that we can achieve these grades that the teachers are saying. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. I feel distracted being at home, but at the same time, I find it easier to like listen to. I find it easier to understand, but harder to actually get on with the work. If you get me.
Yeah, I sort of agree with you. Like, it's really hard to focus in those lessons, because you're not actually there, and they're not sort of showing you like they would in a lesson. But I do find it insanely hard to actually hear what they're saying because, for me, with I have dyslexia, so I'm much of a visual learner, so someone has to be in front of me showing me how to do it. So it's really hard to actually get the work done on write it down and stuff. So I haven't actually been doing that. I've just been sitting in the lessons and doing like the Seneca and the Quizlet things just to at least keep my mind going. But also
Yeah,
in our school, I've just got a new maths teacher and I've never met him before, but we have to do lessons with him on Teams, so we don't know what he looks like, don't know what type of person he is. And it's just really hard because I don't know the person, so it's harder for me to learn. I don't know if you feel the same way about new teachers like that.
as I said before, I think there's pros and cons to it all, and being at school, I felt distracted from others, and so being at home, I think I can get on with the work, but like not understand it. And
Yeah.
I think to be good at the work, you got to have a good bond with your teacher. And having a new teacher, you don't know what he's like. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I am distracted in class. I'm still distracted at home. I do feel like maybe if I left the Xbox in a different room, I probably would focus more. But then again, sometimes in the lessons, if you already know something, you're not gonna pay attention, so you want to go do something else. Um, and sometimes teachers don't turn up for lessons, so you might have 3 lessons a day instead of many others, and it's quite annoying.
Yeah, I agree. I think if I got rid of my phone and Xbox and put them away for a month, I think I would make good progress.
Mm. I think I feel the same, but then I feel like maybe we should go back into school, but do it how they did when the first coronavirus came, like first lockdown, where the classes were
Yeah, I
divided
agree.
into smaller pieces. That was very good.
Yeah, I think we should go back to school, but GCSEs should still be cancelled, and it's all
Mm,
based off teacher assessed
yeah.
work, his coursework that we have done.
Um, I also wouldn't mind going back into school and doing another set of mocks if that helps to prove our grade a bit more, because the mocks are so much more condensed than the actual GCSEs. And if they have stuff in it that, like a subject that we know about, that's going to be a large part of the mock. So then that could count towards a huge part of our grade, which I wouldn't mind doing mocks again, but not the actual GCSE.
Yeah, I think mine and your mocks weren't the best, but
Mm,
your science mocks were higher, and you didn't really get a choice because you wanted to do
Yeah.
foundation. And I think doing mocks gets you to reflect on what you need to improve on.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. Like with some of my mocks, like the English one I did, I think I got a mock grade of a 4 or 5, which I need a 5 in English and maths and 2 other subjects to get onto the course I want. But with the science, they made me do the higher paper, and I'm not really well equipped for that. So I got ungraded. But then I feel like if I did the foundation, I at least would have got a grade 4.
Yeah, I didn't think that's fair on you because you wanted to do the foundation.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess if I got the higher right, I would have got a higher mark. But then again, if I took the foundation, they could have at least seen, oh, well, he did okay on the foundation, so we should keep him on there instead of just putting me straight to the higher and going, oh, well, he's failed that mock now, but next time I put him to foundation. But it was unsure if we are going to come actually back into school at that point, so it wasn't fair on me, and my mocks for science have suffered for that.
Yeah.
Also, oh, I'll let you talk.
I think I have another side of it. I think people are sad that the exams are not on because I feel like they want to show that they can get a higher mark than teacher assessed grades, and I do feel for them, but I think personally, I think it's better doing teacher assessed grades.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I do feel like in some subjects, I'm not going to be able to get that high of a grade off the teacher assessed, but I think I'd get a better one than I would have if I took the exam. Like with the photography one, it's really hard at the moment because I find it hard to sit down and focus and actually write stuff about the photos because also we can't take any at this point. And
Yeah,
I've been told by our photography teacher that I don't know if you do art or photography, you listeners, but you have to do a creative statement. And I haven't apparently put enough detail in it. But then again, he says, "Oh, the deadline was, I think it was Friday or something." But we have until
yeah, I had to do that.
we have until about July to like finish school. So surely I should have until July to finish the creative statement.
Yeah, I
So
did complete that.
yeah, I filled every box in, but I didn't put enough detail in all the boxes. So I think I need to step that up a bit more. But also with my actual photography PowerPoint, like the journey of all the photography stuff, I haven't took that many photos, but I've done really good editing. I've showed my inspirations, um and my grade is only a 4 or 3, even though that my standard of work is probably above someone that's got a 6 or something. It's just because I haven't took enough as many photos of them as them, and also I haven't put enough detail into a shoot plan, which I don't understand because with a shoot plan you could just say, I want it to look like this, and this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take it here. That doesn't need too much detail, but I don't know why he's trying to pull that much out of us.
Yeah.
So
Another thing I want to say is I don't know why the year below us, year 10, are trying to make this whole situation about them,
mm, mm,
about them wanting their exams to be cancelled as well. But again, I do understand because they've probably missed just as much school as us, but they will have an extra year
yeah, if
learning.
not more.
I feel like this whole coronavirus thing will be at least done by summer.
Yeah, because we missed two thirds of our year 10, the beginning of our year 11, and now like the mid of our year 11. So we've missed like a year and a half of learning, and so have they, yes, but they've also got the rest of year 10 and the whole of year 11, so they've got another year and a half to catch up. I feel like they shouldn't cancel their GCSEs, but maybe make them smaller.
Yeah, I feel like they should like not make them as hard, or like do a lower grade, like a lower grade, like percentage for a grade.
Yeah. So maybe make everybody take the foundation, but on the foundation you can get from a 4 to a 9 or something.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah.
I think that'd be good for them, because yes, they've missed the same amount of time as us, but then they've got more time than us left. So yes, they've missed something, so they do need an exception, but then they still do have a lot of time left.
Yeah, or I feel like they should do a higher. No, they should do foundation to 4 to 7 and higher 7 to 9, but you can still achieve
Yeah, that's a
at
good
least
idea.
5 on the higher.
So, also, I do think that the actual colleges that are going to be accepting us or not accepting us should make accept a bit more exceptions now because of everything that's happened.
Yeah,
Because I still think I can't remember if it's 4 5s or 5 4s I needed for my the course I want to get, and I guess I could achieve that if I put quite a lot of work in, but still, the government have said if there's problems at home because of this coronavirus, obviously, say if there's a problem at home and you can't get away from it, that should be considered when they're um, grading our work to figure out our grade. I think the colleges also do the same thing where, say, if a family member of mine has died of the coronavirus, they haven't, but say if they did, I think that should be taken into account because I'm at home, and mental health, like you were saying, is a huge part, and your mental health depreciates when you don't have a routine, and it's hard to get into a routine when you're at home all the time.
yeah,
So there needs to be more consideration also when grading this work.
yeah. It's easier said than done, really. I think
Mm,
they expect so much from us, but we've missed at least a year and a half of school. It is easier said than done. Like you can't catch up with that much schoolwork in a matter of couple of months.
yeah, we only have um I can't remember how many exact months it is. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So we've got like 5 months, if not 4, and we're probably
They
not even going to
expect
be
us
back
to
into
catch up on
school.
that.
And we're probably not even going to be back in school till end of February, beginning of March. And I really want to go back in so I can actually use my books and I can sit down and write that. Because realistically, it's hard to sit there and listen to a lesson at home and not be distracted and actually write down everything you need to know.
Yeah,
I am
but
trying to be optimistic though.
I think everyone that's listening to this, I think just get knuckled down like while you can, because it relies on your future.
Mm. Well,
I know
I
it's hard,
think
but you need to.
Yeah, I think we need to knuckle down. But for me personally, it's really hard to, and I think the government will probably still change how they're going to grade even further from now, because if you think about last time we were in the lockdown and we came back, they said the bits that we missed were going to be cut out of the GCSEs. So now we've been off school again in exactly the same situation. Are they going to say everything we've learnt in the homeschooling can be used towards the grade, but if you haven't done it, it's not going to bring your grade down?
Yeah,
I think that's what you do because, like I said, personally, because of my dyslexia and everything, it's very, very hard to work at home, and I've done next to nothing work, and I've also had other issues as well as the coronavirus, which has been affecting that.
yeah. Um, Pause it for a minute.
I do think that when we get back, when we get back there, that's when they should start marking from, like the work that we do from when we get back into school. Like I said, because I haven't done much work and I finding it really hard because of many other issues to actually get the work done. But when like I want to get back, I want to knuckle down, and then I want them to grade it from the day we got back, and then I could probably get actual good grade that I need, and that is gonna dictate my future really, and the course I want to do. And if I can't get into that course, I'm gonna have to do a level 1 and stay there for an extra year, and actually have to do the GCSEs then because I'm in that level 1 course. So that does kind of scare me, but then again, I'm trying to be optimistic, and I'll be happy with whichever result as long as I can get into the course and not have to retake my maths or English, which I don't think I will, but I don't think I'll get the 4.5s I need, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I really
What I think colleges need to take in consideration that when it comes to our courses that we want, they need to like not be as harsh with it because of this event that's happened and has
yeah.
affected a lot of people's lives.
It's not,
So
and it's not just affected it because we've had to stay at home and we can't do the work. It's because the toll it's taken on people's mental health and the other issues that staying at home can bring, like people that are being abused maybe at home,
cyberbullying.
probably, yeah, cyberbullied and things like that. It's affecting their mental well-being, and then they're not being able to put the effort in for that work. So I do think the government will probably say another thing when we go back to school, and I'm hoping we go back to school soon. Not because I always thought when I'm at school, I don't want to be here, this is so boring, but now I'm not there, it's very annoying because I'd actually rather be there learning and then having a break and chatting with all my friends in actual person.
Yeah, I get you. Like you want to be there just to do the work and not at the same time you don't want to be there because of the people.
That's why I think they should condense maybe they could send us back earlier if they condensed the classes down.
Yeah, because I think what they did
Mm,
before with the first lockdown, just taking
yeah.
small groups, like the figures weren't as high.
And maybe they should only bring, because they only brought year 11 back and then he had every teacher in our school teach, then you could break it up to spread students apart and make it so much easier, which that's I think what they should do.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Also, I'd like to talk about people's sleeping patterns and sleeping routines. I feel like people's sleeping routines have like gone down again and not as good. Personally, I have missed like, a couple first lessons because I've been going
Mm,
to bed like bit early in the morning, and I feel like that's been with a lot of people.
definitely.
And having a good sleep pattern, I think, will make it easier to learn because you're not tired and you're not you're concentrating on the work instead of concentrating on going like being sleepy and that.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way because I'm if I do get up for the first lesson, then by halfway through the day, I'm too tired to actually continue with the day. So then um I can't do the lessons, and then I get emails, and it takes a toll on my mental health when I get these emails because then I'm scared that I'm not gonna achieve the grade that I want.
Yeah. So I think having a good sleeping pattern, make sure you do, will definitely help help you learn.
Yeah, and it also would improve your mental health as well. I just feel like your sleeping pattern is better when you're at school because you're at school, so you're worn out at the end of the day, so then you don't want to stay up as late as normal. And because you've got that routine of waking up, going to school, learning, and coming back, it's sort of then because you've got that routine, you have to put a sleeping routine in place. So that's another reason why I think we should go back
Yeah. Yeah, I
because
agree.
it'd improve our mental health, our actual health, our sleeping, our learning, help our future. It We just need to be back in schools. And I know a lot of people are probably gonna be like, oh, I don't want to be, I don't want to be, but deep down I know everybody wants to go back to school and learn and actually get the grades that they need.
I think some people just don't like school because of their mental health and the way they get bullied.
Yeah.
And I think you just you like distract yourself on your mental health instead of your work, and feeling sad and like feeling that anxiety and depression really does impact doing schoolwork. So yeah, I think that needs to stop.
Yeah.
At least just for school, and I just think it needs to stop. I think people need to live their life the way they want to, and people need to accept that.
Yeah, I've noticed in secondary schools, mainly I'd say amongst the year 9, 10 to 11, there's a lot of bullying, and it's not just in it's not just an isolated thing. It's in, I'd say, cross country, if not worldwide. That age group seems to bully people, and sometimes the people that are bullying have mental health problems themselves, and that's why they're doing it, to distract themselves, but then they're causing other people to have them. So I think there needs to be more done about mental health in schools, and especially now because of the current crisis that the world's going through.
I think we should speak about that in a future video as well.
Yeah, definitely. Also, there's been a event in UK news recently that a boy was stabbed over a relationship with a girl, and I can't imagine how that's affecting people's mental health. And because some people, it's not only happened once, there's been about 3 events, I think, in the past month, and it's going to be affecting people's mental health. And if we were in school, that probably wouldn't have happened. And the mental health that it's affected, those people probably who were friends with them and not going to be able to do the schoolwork as good because of their mental health.
Yeah, I think being in a true friendship with a person can have a big impact in your life, of just knowing that person and then just go away.
Yeah, it's a huge thing, because
And especially at a young age like that, I just don't think it's acceptable.
yeah, I don't think it's acceptable at any age for someone to be carrying a knife at all, especially 13-year-olds. It's crazy to think. I would have been that age 3 years ago, and I would never have even thought of stabbing someone because of something. And I think that's horrible, because now the boys that have done it are going to be in prison, and then they're not going to have an education. So it all comes back to this education and mental health side of everything, which is the main thing that is being affected by this coronavirus.
Yeah, I agree.
Probably talk about mental health and relationships in another podcast, and probably get more people's opinions on it as well. But it does kind of hit close to home, because I've had a lot of issues with someone, and I've been told that they are going to do something like that to me, and that never used to scare me, but now I've heard these things are happening, it kind of does.
Yeah, I think words can hurt a lot, and
Yeah,
your mind just believes what people say, and yeah, I don't think it's right.
I've had to have a counsellor since the first lockdown because of how it's all affected me, and because I've been at home and everything's been happening, it's made me get into other issues, and then that causes more mental health issues. So it's really affected me. But I think also people are being horrible to other people because of their mental health, and it's just not helping anybody.
Yeah.
Right. So in a moment, we are just going to get a guest on from our school to also talk about how they feel about these GCSEs, and how it affects them and all their issues with it. So we're just going to wait for him to join. For you, this will be instantaneous, but for us, we're going to be waiting a few minutes. So thank you. So here we are joined by one of our friends called Jack, and he is going to tell us how he feels about the exams being cancelled. So how do you feel about this?
Well, I just want to say hi. I have a lot of mixed feelings about this, but like the main thing I feel like pointing out is the teachers, like at schools across the UK, they try to sugarcoat everything I mean, now we're mostly adults in our year. We feel like we need to be given things straight so we can actually tackle the situation ourselves. And I think that personally, I want the GCSEs to continue because I think I'd do a lot better if they were.
Okay.
I
That's
think that's weird. Why do you think that?
Well, I think it's because they want less panic, the teachers and the students, but really they just need to tell us how things are in reality, and they need to acknowledge how we feel like ourselves.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah, that's a good like different view on everything. And I agree with you in some ways. Like, yeah, they do sugarcoat everything with us, and they don't treat us like adults. Like when we're acting adults, they like don't treat us like it, and then when we mess around because they said they're not treating us like adults, then they ask us to act like adults. So I can understand what you're saying there, but with the exams going ahead, in my opinion, I think it's better that they're not. But I do see in some ways now you said that why it would be better if we took the exams, because maybe a lot of people were struggling with the work like I am right now, and I'm not actually getting much down. So
I do find that weird, Jack, but yeah, I do respect your point of view of it, and I just want to say that we have missed about a year and a half of school, and how you feel about that.
yeah, thank you. Right. The main point of view for me, like the most important part, is the amount of work I've missed, like in total. It's a really hard hitting thing because in our mocks that we took not too long ago at our school, the teachers were preparing us like very well. We'd done a great amount of revision, and they all claimed that the revision we did and planned out would be in our mocks, and we'd have it all figured out. But for the most part, the mocks we did, we didn't have any of the subjects that we revised on, and that kind of had us. I say us, but this is my point of view. It kind of had me lost. Like I was in the middle of nowhere, and
Yeah,
I wouldn't have much to answer and much else to revise.
I do agree with you there. Actually, I feel like the maths and English it didn't have like a massive toll as it did on everything else with the mocks, because with English and maths, it's just about how you answer the questions. Um, but I do agree with you. Like with the science, we didn't revise anything that we were all the things we revised were not in there. Same with the history, really. The history wasn't as bad, but I feel like we still didn't revise everything we should have. And yeah, I do agree with you to an extent there. And the amount of learning we missed is it's just huge.
Yeah, I'd just like to add as well. I think if we'd missed none of that work, we wouldn't struggle in our mocks at all compared to how much we did when we actually did them.
Callum, have you got anything to say?
Because when doing our mocks, they told us to revise all this stuff that weren't even in the mocks.
Yeah, and that took a toll on our mental health again. It comes back to that. Something I would like to mention is they've obviously cancelled the A levels and GCSEs, but the BTECs are still going ahead, which I find that's going to be very frustrating for people that are doing BTEC subjects. Luckily, I'm not taking one, but I do feel for the people that are, because they're still going to have to some form of exam although it might be made easier?
Doing the BTEC, I've already passed it, and I did it in, I think, year 10, and it weren't that hard. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
good.
do BTEC, and that is the rest of me doing BTEC is coursework.
Yeah. So Jack, am I in right in saying that you take food tech, and is that a B tech?
Yeah, you are right. It is a BTEC.
And have you done an exam already that's going to count towards the GCSE, or are you still waiting on one? Or what does what does it entail for you to get the grade?
Yeah, we are still waiting on one, and we have, to put it simply, we have a theory and our actual food exam where we have to cook. Our theory, which is what we did not long ago, for me, no revision was really needed, but I think there were a good handful of people that needed to do it, but the teacher was not like supplying enough support and giving us subjects based around food to focus on and to get more marks and a higher grade.
Yeah. And I was saying, the GCSEs and A levels have been cancelled, but they haven't said anything about the B Tech. So what do you think, you two, which one of you want to go first? What do you think they should do to the B Techs, or what would you like to happen to that? Considering they've cancelled the GCSEs.
Callum,
I think they should carry on with just doing coursework as they are at the minute. But I don't know how it is with food tech. So, Jack, you can speak about your opinion.
yeah, I mean, when it comes to food tech, I completely agree with you there, Callum. Like, I think we should continue with our coursework, so we'd have a lot more things to focus on in that base subject.
Yeah.
Some schools haven't taken their BTEC exam yet. So do you think they should be cancelled, or do you think they should go ahead, or something should be changed with them? What do you think, Alan?
I think they should do it in summer when just the BTEC students that haven't done it just go back to school and do it, because there aren't actually there's not a lot of people that need to do it. So I think they should go back to school and do it like the rest of us.
Jack, have you got an opinion on that?
No, I do think Callum is very spot on there.
Obviously, I do not take a BTEC, but my opinion is that, they should still take the exam, because BTECs are more coursework based, so it wouldn't affect their grade as much.
Also, I got another thing to say. How lessons are starting at 9 o'clock, I think that's way too early. As like I said with the sleep schedule earlier, people go to sleep way late, and I think the lesson should start at 10 and finish at 4.
Jack, have you got an opinion on
that? Yeah, I could back that, and I'd like to add, some students have been supplied with laptops from the school so they can access their homework platforms and Microsoft Teams. Obviously, that is like a good thing to do, that for the school. But I don't think they reach out to absolutely everyone that seems to struggle with work. Like I, for one, have struggled with work due to like my devices, such as my laptop. So right now, I kind of can't get any done, and they don't seem to care.
Yeah, I do see that with a lot of other students, not in our school, but I've seen it across social media that they're struggling with it, and I agree. You weren't here earlier, Jack, but I was saying maybe they shouldn't actually, because last lockdown they didn't consider the work that we did over that lockdown. They actually removed it from the GCSEs, but now we're not doing them GCSEs. I think that when we go back, the work we do from then should be marked. But also, back to what you were saying about the Show My Homework, the Seneca, and all of these things. I think there's too many different websites that we need to go on, and it's too confusing. And it's just not good for anybody because you're having that many tabs open and having that much stuff. It's going to slow the internet down, and then you're not going to be able to actually do the work. One more thing, back to what Callum was saying about the schools starting a bit later. There actually is scientific studies that show teenagers should really be starting school at 11 o'clock and finishing at 5 because the teenage brain isn't active until about 11 o'clock in the morning, and it doesn't turn off till about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I think with that you just said, I think they need to take and consider that our first 2 hours of school, they're not going to be as good. So I think when it comes down to them 2 lessons with coursework, I think they should ease that a bit.
Do you have any opinions, Jack?
No, I'm all good on that one.
Yeah, the government was talking about, I can't remember how many years ago it was, but it wasn't that long ago, about changing the hours of school, and they still haven't done it. And I think now this should prompt them to actually do something about those hours. And I know I continue to keep saying this, but I'm so much struggling with this online learning. It's not for me. And from the, I guess, the side of the community in schools with learning disabilities, this is insanely hard to learn from home.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to say when the first lockdown was set in motion and we were all sent home to do online work for the first time, it was a huge shock for everyone, I can say that. And the amount of work that was set for us online, I doubt anybody could catch up to it. And it put so many people's mental health in the bin. Like they did not see it come in. They were being urged on to do so much work.
Yeah, you just actually opened up a huge memory for about that. I did remember that the work I was looking at, every single day we're being set an hour of work for every single lesson. But if we were in school, we wouldn't be doing 9 lessons a day. And the work was much harder because we didn't have the online lessons in our school personally from that point. So it became extremely hard to keep up with that work. And that is why they cut out the GCSEs. And back to what I was saying, the exams have been cancelled now. So I think the learning that we're doing right now in this home learning, I hope the government got further change what they're going to do with the grading and say that does not count. We're going to consider that they've missed even more and go off even a smaller amount of work than we did for last year's year 11s.
Yeah.
It's just and also think, because there's still a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen when we go back to school and how the grades are going to be given, and it's just playing a huge part on my mental health. And to be honest, sometimes I do feel like I can't do the schoolwork anymore, and I don't want to, and it
Just get exhausted.
Yeah, and I'm scared that's going to impact my future because I'm scared I won't get the course I want.
Yeah,
I
agree with that.
I think I speak for everyone here when I say the amount of work we get set is too much for people like us, and it does put a lot of stress and worry on the future we want to pursue.
Because the amount of work that they set as homework just alone, we haven't got enough time in the week to complete that amount, because we're probably being set 5 pieces every day for every subject we've done that day, or not 5 pieces of homework every night, let's say. Each one takes an hour, and each teacher expects us to prioritize their homework, which is annoying because when you come to tell a teacher, oh, I had this homework this night, they go, you should have prioritized mine. But then if you did prioritize that person's, and the other teacher would have said the same thing. So the amount of homework we set is ridiculous. I don't know if that happens in other schools, but I understand what you're saying there, Jack. You got an opinion on that, Callum, about homework? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What would you change about it?
I think in the first lockdown we got so much work and it's too much to get up to. But I think when we got back to school, I think schools were like, "All right, you didn't do
Quite
it,
nice about
but
it, yeah.
you need to knuckle down."
Yeah. I feel like they will be like that when we get back, and I hope they will. And to be
They're
honest,
being very understanding at the minute about it all.
yeah, but I think the amount of work we're being set now in this lockdown is still an awful lot, especially when we're not at school and it's harder to concentrate.
Yeah, I think
I just
attending the lessons, I think that will help though.
Yeah,
And
they said that'll be
yeah.
put forward when they consider our grades about how much we've attended.
just attend every lesson and do the work.
I mean, even if you're not doing the work, at least log on to every lesson and say to your teacher, "Hi, I'm here," because then at least when it comes to them to grade your GCSEs, it'll say, "Oh, he turned up for every lesson," even if they know you haven't done the work. They'll go, "He's putting in effort to join these lessons."
Yeah, and always ask your teacher if you're struggling because it could help, or search it up how to do it. If it's like maths, I searched up how to do algebra today and found it much more useful searching it up.
Yeah.
How to do it.
There's a lot of things I'm struggling in with maths at the moment, like trigonometry, and because we have this new maths teacher, we've never met him before, and the first lesson we had was online with him. It's been so hard to actually connect with him, and because we can't connect with him, it's hard to understand the work. And he's been talking about trigonometry, which is the worst, is what I'm worst at, and I just also he doesn't seem like a great teacher because he did say, "Don't ask me any questions" when we first met him. So yeah, so you know.
I would like to add as well, in the first lockdown, even if you missed just like a small amount of work, I'm not sure if this was just for me, but I had like teachers visit me like on a couple occasions, asking like how I am, have I done any work at all? And I found that like kind of shocking because I
Yeah,
think
because
they almost turn a blind eye to it with the amount of work they set us.
the amount of work, and they don't know what's going on at home, and it's the first. I think what a lot of the teachers don't realize, this is the first time this has happened in history for disease to affect schooling, and nobody can tell us how to feel and how to act about this because no one's been in this situation, and that really annoys me. And I'm gonna probably have to bleep this out, but the teachers are being absolute about this, to be honest. But then I do understand that they're stressed as well.
But I do give prompts to Boris Johnson because he's the same as Azul and he's got to make so many decisions against like all over the UK, and I think
Yeah.
he's, as people may hate him, I think he has dealt with these situations pretty well.
Yep.
It's just keeping us safe.
I would say the same thing because, like you say, he's just come into. It's the first time he's ever been prime minister. Only just come in, and he's had to deal with Brexit, the coronavirus, something that no one's ever dealt with before. Both things no one's ever dealt with before, and you should. If you were in his shoes, you would go, "Oh yeah, I'll do this, you'll do that." But you are making decisions for everybody in the country and everything. Every day you have to reconsider everything. So I do agree with you there. I did originally didn't like Boris Johnson before the coronavirus, but now to see the way he's had it and how stressed you'd be in his position, I do
You have got to
understand.
respect him a
Yeah.
bit. He is a human like us all, and
Yeah.
I didn't think I could deal with that situation.
Do you what do you think about Boris Johnson, Jack?
I almost had the same opinion as him, like you. I disliked him at first, but then I began to realise he is just human like us, and he
Yeah.
has a lot to deal with. And through all of it, he has to remain calm for our country, and he has done like a brilliant job on that and addressing all the problems.
if you guys have been watching this is getting a bit too deep for you now, I know this might cheer you up, but he also has had to deal with about 6 kids, according to Wikipedia. They do not actually know the exact amount of children he has, which is probably why he's so stressed, along with the coronavirus. But I do feel like he's done the best job that anybody could do. He's only human.
Yeah, and I
And
think that should be a
yeah.
message.
Because a lot of people listen to these celebrities that are saying things about him that are very negative, and really you should formulate your own opinion. Never let anybody else influence your opinion. You should formulate your own. You can obviously listen to your friends and go, oh yeah, I agree with a bit of that, but not all of that. That's okay, but never let anybody else formulate your opinion.
Everybody has a voice.
Yeah.
I think we should end this podcast, but our comments are always open, and our socials, you can always message us for your opinions on next videos. And if you ever want to talk about your mental health, we're always here to talk about it. Thank you, Jack, for being our host. Alfred, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, one last thing. If you did enjoy this podcast, please leave a like, please subscribe, leave a comment. At the moment, this will only be on YouTube because we're still trying to figure out how to get it on Spotify and other platforms, because I do know how to get music on there, but podcasts are slightly different and it might cost us a bit of money. And if it does cost us money, we'll have to do that later on down the line. But we will eventually get every single podcast on all platforms. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.